What's up, guys? Back here with another playthrough of Defender of the Crown. This time we are playing the DOS CGA version of the game. I chose the CGA version because it is what would have been more common at that time and more indicative of what was going on with computers. This, I believe, came out the year after the Commodore Amiga, and when you compare the sound and the graphics, it is wild. So first thing you gotta do in DOSBox is actually mount to your C drive. And then those of you who remember playing in the DOS games, you had to go through and find the right directory, all in text, no graphical user interface, no GUI. When I hit this, it's gonna go into the intro song pretty quickly here. My apologies if it's loud, because it's on PC speaker, which was basically just a chip on the board that would just make these bleeping noises. The fact that they can actually get it to sound like the Defender of the Crown theme song is amazing in its own right. And then we'll take a look at the graphics too. So you can hear it's only got one voice in this sound. And then the graphics, CGA was only capable of 4 colors, and that was counting black, so really only 3 colors. One of the things that impresses me about this game is that they are able to make it work with only 3 colors. The resolution is fine, in my opinion. And on screens like this, where they could favor just that tan, red, and black color, looks fine. But for most of the game, you'll see that they only use this tan color, the red color, and a green color. I do wish I could skip through these cutscenes. There we go. So here's our typical cast of characters. No typos in this version. I need to point out that I am running on keyboard here. In the options menu, there was an option for joystick, and yet I can't get it to work with my emulator. So we're going to be playing just keyboard. And I'm going to choose Joffrey Longsword. And that's basically because if a maiden becomes available, Joffrey is the only way I'm going to be able to rescue her, because I am terrible at swordplay yet again. I cannot figure out the swordplay in any meaningful way. For an easier game, as long as there's no maiden rescuing going on, Wilfred, I think, would be the best. So let's try out Joffrey. I'm actually somewhat impressed that this scene looks as good as it does with so few colors. Robin Hood is distinct. The fire... I don't know. They tried. It's kind of cool, but kind of annoying too. And same story as always. Alright, and now you notice, since we have so few colors, we can't distinguish the Saxons and Normans by colors exactly. I mean, the Saxons are red and the Normans are green, but to distinguish between the different players within each faction, we're going to use texture patterns. I have spawned way up top, which is not my favorite place to spawn, so we'll see how this goes. I'm going to empty out most of my garrison and head forth immediately. In this version, you don't fight with peasants, so you just want to grab up all the land you can right away, because the vassals will join your army. The other thing is that the other Saxons, they seem smarter in this version, where early in the game they won't bother with you. but late in the game they will backstab you. And one of my issues with the Atari ST version was that they would backstab you from like turn 2. This one, they'll actually, I've watched them, they'll wait until I've eliminated one of the Norman players, and then they're like, uh-oh, he's got a lead, and they'll backstab me then. This is kind of interesting. Actually makes sense logically. Now, my own tactics are pretty normal, which is wipe out an enemy player as soon as possible. So we're at that point. We do need catapults again in this version, unlike the Atari ST version. So I'm going to buy a catapult and some more soldiers. And then this is already going to be our turning point. So I'm going to pick up my army. I'm going to hope I don't get backstabbed by this other Saxon player. And just like the other versions, I'm going to use Robin Hood to get an early game advantage. So here we go. Don't like these odds, but we'll see what we can do. Catapult game is pretty well the same as most versions. And I'm actually going to go ahead and do disease. Alright. I have never knocked down more than 5 pieces of the wall, so I'm assuming that might be the limit in this version. And I've gotten pretty decent at hitting the mark every time, so hopefully that stays true for this time. Or I've already lost pretty well. And Robin sent me a bunch of people to help me fight. Since I'm Joffrey Longsword, I do have a lower leadership than pretty well all the other players. So I do have to be careful about how I fight my battles. Alright, I'm going to play a little gutsy here. Let's see if this pans out or not. I'm going to leave like one guy behind just as a placeholder. And I'm going to head towards this guy's capital right away. Let's see what happens. These guys will actually leave army units all around. So you have to like fight your way through their lands. Yep. Alright, I got backstabbed by Wilfred, so I probably just lost. Yep. So, played it a little bit too gutsy. You see, as soon as I started to gain an advantage, I got backstabbed. I've actually never heard this song before. This game's not as hard as the others, but playing as Joffrey makes it a little bit harder. Alright, let's give it another go. The AI doesn't bother me. I actually think that That's a good choice. If I've defeated one of the Norman lords, it makes sense that the Saxons are like, whoa, hold on, we want to be king, and then they come into last minute and backstab me, so I can't win. Actually makes sense to me. One thing I know is if you take these lands kind of in the center of England, you often get better income and better vassals. And I'll show you this next one. Actually, I don't even know. I don't know why I should leave soldiers behind. One is not going to do anything. This land right here has a ton of vassals. I think it's like 9 or something. Let's take a look. 12. There's 12 guys in that territory. And I don't know if I am losing people to peasants or not, but there's no message about it. The numbers seem a little bit wonky. Okay. I'm going to play this a little bit differently this time. Or am I? Yeah, I think I will. I'm going to actually head out here. And I'm not sure it's actually a good idea or not. But it gives me one more turn to build up my income. And taking the land from that guy took away some of his income. Oh, and we have a joust. I cannot consistently win this, so I will probably just get knocked off immediately. This version of the game likes to punish you for any failures you have. So I have had it where I have chosen fame and lost, and immediately my leadership went down. And I can't afford that, so I'm going to have to go ahead and do land. And I know, actually I'm going to choose this guy. At least when I lose, a Saxon will get the land and not a Norman. Oh, Wulfric. Yeah, I'm going to lose. So you just move your lance over to where you think the shield will be. Somehow I won against Wulfric. It's sort of a mystery to me, because I've had times where I thought my shield and lance were lined up and I lost, so... I don't know, that land, I guess. I'm still at a net gain, I guess. Huh. I won again. I am somewhat mystified. Well. Too high. Huh. But it was a tie. A little low. Seeing as it's the keyboard, it's hard to figure out how you're supposed to line it up. Alright, I lost that one. Still at a net gain. And then my army got teleported home because I didn't control that land anymore. So this seems like a pretty good time to build up my army. One catapult and as many soldiers as I can afford. Okay. I'm gonna have to actually start leaving people at home so I don't get backstabbed. But I want this guy's land, so here I go. Wait, I want Robin Hood. Without Robin Hood, Joffrey might actually lose that battle. Especially with that many defenders. Go ahead and do disease. That helps. This version is pixelated enough that I have these little benchmarks that I'm looking at, and when my catapult scoop gets to that pixel, I hit the button, and then gotten pretty good at always hitting. It's always nerve-wracking playing as Joffrey because his leadership is not good. You have to just always overwhelm your enemies with superior numbers. All right. That guy up north has turned on me. And I'm not actually worried about that green guy to the east right now. So let's leave some soldiers behind to slow them down. And then I'm going to carve my way up to that guy. Oh, Cedric, great. He's got the highest leadership. I got some gold stolen. Cool thing is it shows you whose turn it was, so I know it's the green guy with the vertical lines that did it. Alright, let's get within striking distance of this guy. It's actually tempting to make a strike against him while his field army is away, but I feel like it's too dangerous. So I'm going to head home and build up my army first. I wonder... Yeah, I think we could switch over to the bombard strategy. I have lost a lot of momentum, so I need to get it back. So I'm going to take this territory. Buckingham, I only left a couple people there. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, things... Oh, and then I got it back from a special event right away. Funny. Well, I wish Cedric hadn't backstabbed me so early, because he is cause this war to grind to a halt. But I'm going to ask for Robin Hood's help. And then this will effectively ally all the Saxons together because it'll just be me. It's only 21 defenders, so this would be a good time to show you. I can't seem to land a 6th shot against the wall. First 3 are pretty easy. Fourth is pretty easy. 5th shot. And then here, no matter what I do, I never seem to hit. Too short. Switch to bombard. Alright, Buckingham is under siege again. I don't even know why there's a guy there. Oof. And then that one green guy has got his field army all the way up there now. I don't like it. I'm going to use up my last Robin Hood, actually. Well, let's take a chance. We'll keep him. Okay. So yeah, actually, now that my home is secure, I'm going to borrow some more soldiers. Wipe out this other green guy. In my opinion, this game plays out a lot like the Nintendo version in terms of how the enemy AIs act and the kind of the strategies you need to use to win. So 5 hits to the castle wall, then bombard with as many catapults as you can build. Buckingham's under attack again. But I really like Buckingham. Well, I have a 101 gold. It'd probably be a good time to buy some more troops. 2 more catapults, 3 more catapults, and a pile of hit points. All right. Now, I did get into a situation like this before where we ground down to a stalemate. In fact, I recorded it, but it ended up dragging on for so long that I ended up not using it for the video because it wasn't boring for me exactly, but it wouldn't be that exciting to watch. Basically, I would build up an army of 100 guys to attack his home castle. My army would get wiped out. He'd spend his next turns rebuilding. So what I learned from that game is that I need to cut off his reinforcements. So I'm going to head towards his home castle. And again, not very many defenders, so I can make another stab at that 6th shot, but I'm not going to make it. I don't think it's possible. All right, there maybe. Yeah, I can't. I don't think there is another shot to be made. My main question is, where is his field army? Because I need to take that out. But first, I'm just going to cut him off from reinforcements. And good thing I'm pretty good at this catapult game in this version. Because I have a lot of castles to take. Alright, that's his field army. So I'm actually going to switch gears a little bit here. Basically, I'm going to leave the majority of my army here in this garrison. And then I'm going to start cutting off his sources of income. Oh, and I forgot. They actually leave garrisons, so that was dumb. So you actually have to have an army to do what I just tried to do. So that was a waste of 1 man in a turn, but whatever. We'll go ahead and... Boy, I got a lot of money. 5 more catapults and a pile of soldiers. And that will be my new army. The way this game works, he can't get his campaign army out of his home castle because I blocked him in. So... go ahead and leave 1 soldier just in case, somehow. And I'm going to start picking apart his... Huh? Oh. I'm going to start picking apart his territories so they're all mine. Here, he's trying to break out. Let's see how big his army is. It's pretty big, actually. So I do like the strategic elements of this version of the game. Feels a little bit more real that I need to come down here and reinforce this position. And he's going to keep trying to break out of that position. Now, this castle here should only have 10 defenders because he shouldn't have been able to reinforce it. Yep. I'll lob a Greek fire in there just because. Huh. Didn't do anything. If it was too high. So you might be wondering why I don't just take his home castle. That's what caused me to grind to a stalemate the previous time I played. I would just keep throwing a large army at his home castle, and his home castle would have like 100 defenders. So I want to cut off some of his income first. But I think I'm at a point where I'm at a pretty good lead. Especially this field army just is going to get wiped out here. Maybe. That siege was pretty painful. That's a little too close for my liking. So I think we're going to go for it. I'm going to bring in these troops to reinforce. I believe we're at 11 catapults, so I think I'm going to do like 4 more. And then that gives us 131 hit points worth of soldiers. Oh, that's fun. Got another territory for free. Alright, sea conquest. Go pick up the main army. And then this group actually has more catapults. And then I think we have one last Robin Hood, so let's make sure we win. Nope, I already called on him a 3rd time and forgot. Alright. See how big. Most other versions don't have enemy garrisons that big. But it makes sense. That's where their entire field army is. And bombard. Boom, boom, boom. All right, thank goodness the music is over. I'm going to kind of share my final thoughts now, but I think I'm also going to start up a new game and just show you what the raid looks like real quick. I was hoping in this playthrough that I would get a maiden rescue, but they seem really rare in this version, or the random events are just really random. Because I played about 5 or 6 times, no maidens, and then one time I kept getting go rescue Rosalind like 2 or 3 times in the same game. It was weird. So I'm impressed with this version for the gameplay, the strategy of it, the enemy AI during the, like I said, like the Saxons actually backstab you at a time that makes sense, which is after you've defeated one of the Norman lords. They kind of go, oop, you got the lead. Let's trip you and take the lead for ourselves. That makes sense. The catapult minigame is fine. I'm not a big fan of the joust. It's just, I don't know how to get the keyboard lance to line up with the enemy shield. And then the raid, the sword fight, I'm going to show you in just a moment. Not a fan of it. I have to basically be Joffrey if I want to actually win. So let me show you. The graphics aren't as bad as I would think for having only 4 colors. The sound is pretty atrocious, but considering that this was DOS CGA, I think it's pretty cool that you can actually like recognize the songs even if they're the worst versions. And the age-old problem of I wish we could skip these cutscenes after you've seen them a million times. Oops. I accidentally called a tournament. It's one thing, I'm sitting there hitting the enter key trying to get through the cutscene and I accidentally chose something in the menu. So anyway, you guys get to see the Joust game again. Somehow I won. I should mention there is an option in the menu screen to turn off the sound. I can't quite bring myself to do it because playing a game silently just feels even weirder. There were later versions of this game that had the updated EGA graphics and like sound card compatibility. I just chose not to play those because they were not what was commonly played at the time. Okay, anyway, I'm going to go raiding. Let's see. Yes, I'm going to go raid the weakest with sword fighting. I don't know if it actually affects it, but anyway, just to show you guys what the sword fight looks like. So you press up, you do that. I don't know what that does. Press down, you do that. Press enter to stab. If you back up too much, you'll run away. And if you run away, you lose leadership, so that's not good. I have tried to figure out how to actually, like, block. But look, like he just is flailing a sword, and I have no idea when I'm supposed to attack. So I'm usually better off just spamming the attack button. And then since I'm Joffrey, maybe I'll win, and that's about it. If I play any of the other players, it's a guaranteed lose. And of course, if I actually played this game out, I would completely lose because I have not taken the early game advantage. So anyway, final thoughts. The game was a lot better than I thought it would be. The gameplay is pretty solid. Even most of the mini games work fine. Graphics aren't good, but they work. And the sound is awful, but that was normal for DOS games back then. So Hope you guys enjoyed. There's still about 2 or 3 more versions from this time period, so we'll see which ones I can get my hands on next. Apple 2GS, I guess that has some good reviews, and then I'm curious about the classic Macintosh too. So see you guys next time.